So before Satomi and I share the last 20 minutes of this part of the forum, I know that Sergey Sidorov is online from Ukraine, and before it's too late, I just wanted him to appear in person, given we were showing his video earlier. Sergey, are you there?
Hi.
Maybe the. Hi, Sergey. Yeah, so sorry, we played your video as the first session, and I just saw you were online. So, are you is everything okay?
Yeah, everything is okay. Just I missed the time, so I just sorry for not being able to answer the questions. So if there are any questions now, so I'm ready to answer. If because and my students were present, so they said that you send the link to the video, and
Yes.
so
Yep.
they it's good that people can be able to can watch this video. So, and thank you
Yeah.
for the opportunity to present.
Yeah, thank you. I know it's getting late for you, so thanks for joining and being on.
Thank you, and have a productive forum.
Thank you. So the last 20 minutes, Satomi and I, will talk about different socially assistive robots. Satomi, would you like to go first? I think you should go first.
Oh, okay. I thought you would, but yeah, but that's okay. Okay, so let
Are
me,
you okay?
yeah, sure. Let me share my PowerPoint. Okay, so can you all see my PowerPoint? Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, right. So I'm going to be focusing on, robotics as technology to support employment for people with disabilities in Japan. And Renata is going to be discussing the other technology, which uses a lot of AI. So, well, first of all, I'm Satomi Shindi. I'm originally from Japan, but I'm a professor of special education at University of Wisconsin River Falls. I'm also teacher education department chair. So yeah, this is about the technology which uses avatar robots. It's called Orihime, which was developed in the company called Ori in Tokyo, Japan. So yeah, Renata, Brian and myself worked on this, the project grant, which was actually funded by the American Embassy of Tokyo, Japan, and we visited Tokyo almost 3 years ago, back in 2022, and yeah, visited the company, and we conducted this preliminary study. We recruited several participants, well, they call pilots, those who have disabilities, and then they actually operated those avatar robots, remotely. So it was really interesting trip. And this was, like I said, back in 2022, it was still, under the COVID effect in Japan. Yeah, face coverings were still enforced. But it was really interesting trip. So yeah, so I just wanted to give you the just a quick background of this, preliminary study. So in Japan, well, I mean, first of all, the United Nations released the statement to sustain inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all back in 2015. And this included people with disabilities. And Japan adopted that statement, and Japanese government encouraged the idea called the Society 5 plan. Well, Society 5 plan really focuses on the idea of integrating and including more people using like cyberspace and physical space. So yeah, advanced technology like robotics and AI has been like strongly encouraged in Japan. Um, and also the government really, tries to promote, to continue to increase employment and the quality of life of people with disabilities. So, yeah, just wanted to share some of the purpose. So, like I said, yeah, the partnerships we have created with Ori, the company in Tokyo, Japan, and Orihime. So you see this, yeah, the bigger Orihime. Well, it's called Orihime D. So this one actually moves, to serve like, food and beverages, in the cafe. As you see the bottom picture, the cafe's name is Dawn. It's part of this, company, Ori. And you see the backs of Renata and Brian entering the cafe. And then, yeah, the top picture, that's me, greeting the greeter with Orihime. This was operated by, again, a person with disabilities remotely. And mainly these robots have been operated by people with like physical disabilities and, mental health issues who have difficulty getting to work, physically and having, issues with commuting. Oops. Oh. I'm trying to go to the next page. Yeah, here we go. So like I said, this is just a preliminary study. So the size of the participants was small. Yeah, we recruited 6 people with disabilities. Again, most of them had either physical or mental health issues as their disabilities. And yeah, we interviewed those responses using Zoom and recorded their responses, and we analyzed the data thematically later. And just want to explain about these pictures. So they're tiny robots, as you see, sitting on the table. So this robot was operated by this person you see on the iPad, and she was taking our orders. She was answering our questions regarding the menu, and yeah, she was really helpful. So yeah, this tiny robot, they sit at the end of the table. So before we started the interviews, 3 of us decided to just have nice lunch there, which was great. The right side of the picture, you see, yeah, the little robot and also the bigger robot, which is Orihime D. Like I said, this one actually moves, from corner to corner in this cafe, so they can serve food, beverages, anything. So again, these are also operated by people with disabilities remotely. Just want to show you like 10-second video if this works. Here you go. Mobile order. Oh, do you have a smartphone?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Thank you. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, yeah, she was taking orders for us, and then this iPad shows the menu and any of the answers to like our questions. So and then you might have seen the bigger one moving away from us. So yeah. So basically these robots working all over the cafe. Mobile order. Okay. Okay, so yeah, as for the methods, like I said, we conducted, interview studies, so it's a qualitative study. We structured questions for the interviews in advance. So some of the questions we address include like how long they worked for, how long they worked for any, employment sites using, these Orihime, the avatar robots, types and locations of employment, and also what kind of initial interest they had. So what motivated them to use this avatar robot? Anything changed as the outcome of using this robotics? And if they had any prior challenges, and also how they overcame the challenge they might have experienced. Oops. Okay. We also asked more questions regarding like their current experience, and also training involvement. So the participants we interviewed, they were sort of, they call like senior pilots. So they have had good experience. So they were allowed to train newcomers, the pilots. So we asked them about that experience. And how they expect their future changes. And we also asked the general questions regarding like, barriers of people with disabilities in Japan, and just in general, benefits and challenges of using, robotics in Japan. And if they consider like any needs of additional programs and opportunities in Japan. So, based on those questions, again, we analyze the data thematically, and these are the themes that were revealed. So, all of the pilots, the participants, used Orihime, the avatar robots, between 1 and 4 years, and all of them worked for this, Cafe Dawn. And a few of them had different experience, such as like working for amusement park and a fast food restaurant. And as for the prior experience they had, all of them mentioned that they felt that they were rejected of their employment opportunities because of not being able to work in person, or they couldn't commute. And regarding the questions about like their initial interest, life changes, training involvement, yeah, we found these themes that they all felt that the increased employment opportunities were created because of the robotics. They also experienced social connectedness, through the conversation with clients, customers, their coworkers, their supervisors, and all those different people. So through that experience, they had a sense of inclusion in the community. They also experienced overall happiness and satisfaction. This was, yeah, just totally, yeah, it was really positive experience. Yeah, they also mentioned about the increased communication. So prior to the use of, Orihime, that yeah, they didn't have much, they didn't have many opportunities to really communicate with others, but this really expanded their communication. They also mentioned about the sense of fulfillment by helping other pilots by training them. So like I said, because they were given the opportunities to train other pilots. So typically, people with disabilities, they were so used to like being trained by other people, but this was their first experience to train other. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, we also asked questions regarding expectation of future changes, and any barriers for people with disabilities, benefits and challenges, any needs of additional programs and opportunities in Japan. So all of them mentioned about that we need to increase, more employment opportunities for people with disabilities. We also heard a lot of voices related to the needs of diverse employment opportunities. So as you see, these robots have been used in more, service industry sites. So yeah, they would like to see, robots being used in, different types of employment opportunities as well. and some of them mention about that we really need to increase understanding of challenges of people with disabilities. And also a couple of them mentioned that we need to really reduce, judgment toward people with disabilities and types of jobs. So, people tend to make judgments by learning about others' jobs, and sometimes that can be really subjective. So they mentioned that any jobs equal, any job should be respected. So I thought that was a interesting response. So yeah, all of the responses to our questions, those are really positive. So all pilots, the participants experience really positive outcomes, and they all mentioned that their quality of life was increased because of the use of avatar robots. And of course, this was only, small study, and it's just a preliminary study. So yeah, we still need to investigate more. It warrants, more interviews with larger groups of, pilots. And also we should be interviewing other people, such as like employers, families, colleagues, and, any stakeholders for this. And yeah, we should be exploring the use of robotics technology, even more. Um, and like I said earlier, like some, pilots mentioned that we should be really increasing more employment opportunities so that, it's not going to just stay only in the service industry. And we should really achieve an inclusive society for people with and without disabilities, both of them. Now, I wanted to share just a couple of pictures that show the current use of Orihime through school settings. This is one of the well, actually, it was given by one of the special schools in Hiroshima, which is my hometown. We had a partnership with this school with another project. And as you see, this student, he is looking at the iPad. He is actually operating this little Orihime remotely. Um, he's he's a senior high school student in Japan. Senior high school students, they go to this, big trip, and yeah, students get really excited about this opportunity. But because of his physical disability, he was not able to go with his schoolmates. But his schoolmates actually carried this, little Orihime for him, so he could see like skyscrapers and, all that, the great, the scenery through this Tokyo Tower. They apparently went to Tokyo as for the trip. And I think his mom actually made this little cute hat for the robot. So yeah, so it's being used in school settings too. And one more interesting picture. So again, this is from same school in Hiroshima, and these robots have been operated by senior high school students, and they met with these folks from the these folks, their potential employers. So they were having sort of, interviews at this local bank. So yeah, these people learned about the capabilities of these high school students, and these students asked a lot of, interesting questions. So yeah, it was really interesting to find out. And hopefully the robotics, to be just, used more in, employment opportunities, and also even in school settings, so that students can be, better prepared to be employed. So that's my piece. Okay, thank you. And yeah.
Thank you, Satomi. And
Yeah.
running a little over
Sharing.
time, so I am gonna make this really, really brief. I know people are hungry, at least in those places where it's lunchtime or close to lunchtime. So here is what I'm gonna do. Just share a few slides as an alternative to what Satomi was talking about. there is another approach to using robots to supporting employment of people with disabilities. The work we have done at the University of Minnesota is with a socially assistive robot called Now. I want to acknowledge my collaborators on this project. In addition to Brian Avery at the university, it's also my colleagues from the engineering department, Vasilios Morelas and Howie Shi. You will see his picture momentarily. In comparison to the Orihime that Satomi was describing, Now robot is AI driven. It's not driven by a human. So there is a very fundamental difference. Both of the technologies can, in many ways, be supportive of people with disabilities and people with aging needs. We really designed our work around the workforce crisis, being that there is a limited number of staff who are supporting people with disabilities and people with aging needs in residential and employment settings. That's why we started doing this work. As I mentioned, this type of robot is not an avatar robot like Orihime. It's a socially assistive robot that is devised to be a companion and a supporter in community activities, including in employment. And similarly to Orihime, it has a humanoid appearance, unlike many other robots that may have other functions. The Now robot is using a large language model or LLM. It's programmed by our engineers who we collaborate with, and therefore it's able to interact and communicate with the individual in various settings. This, you can see Howie, who has been the programmer for Now. He's done a tons of work to move this work forward. And we have done a study actually with aging adults in assisted living to explore the likability of the robot, acceptability, enhancing their physical activity, and decreasing feeling of loneliness. So that was our objective. We did find that the majority of people liked the robot. There was a small group of people who really loved the robot and got attached to the robot and really wanted to spend more time with them. And then a smaller number of individuals who find the interactions quite awkward. The service provider, their feedback was very positive that they could potentially, fill this role of supplemental function to work with the staff to support individuals with aging needs to have a higher quality of life. I'm going to conclude by, you already heard Karen Herman from UDAC speak. She has a new project on which we are assisting using the Now robot specifically in employment settings. So we are just getting started on that work and see what the results are going to be with that. So anyway, I just wanted to provide an alternative to Orihime and to highlight that the robotics field has a lot of potential for the future. Any questions before we close for the morning or afternoon for Satomi or I?
Renata, this is Nick Fernolds with ICI. I have a question for Satomi in regard to the employees working from a distance. Do you know if any of these employees do maybe a hybrid work where they can come into a physical space and also work remotely? I do know that in my work, sometimes transportation can be very, very difficult. And if they want to work their full-time hours, they don't always get the opportunity to do that because of transportation issues.
Yeah, so I mean, I believe if they choose to be there physically, I think they can, they can be hybrid, workers. Um, when we were there, yeah, we did not see anybody, who were coming to work physically. They were like 100%, remote. And that was part of the reasons why that, yeah, they really wanted to use this, Avatar robot because yeah, they had physical reasons, for not being able to be there or because of their mental health issues. Yeah, they chose to be just away from, the physical workplace. So, yeah, but I'm pretty sure they do have, different choices of, employment. So, yeah, that's a good question. Thank you.
And Nick, could you just kind of close us here for now, and then could you go over the remainder of the program for the evening?
Yes. So we're going to close for the first part of our forum now, and then we're going to resume again at 7 p.m. Minnesota time. And I have times in the chat, although Satomi did correct me and that my time for Japan was incorrect. So if you do see an incorrect time, you can let me know. Sorry about that. Those joining from Japan. And I am going to close down the Zoom because of so many hours. Renata, if that's okay, if you want me to try to keep it
Yep,
open.
yep. Mhm.
And then I will bring it back up again about 10-15 minutes before 7 p.m. Minnesota time.
Right. And Nick, we had that 6 to 7 hour as a networking hour. If you could open the Zoom at 6 p.m. Minnesota time, and the networking hour is really just for people to join. There's no presentation. It's just if people want to connect with each other, ask question, chat, I'll be on. So feel free to join at 6 p.m. Minnesota time. At 7 p.m. we will start the last set of presentations that will go. And we have, just to remind people, we will have presentations from Japan, Australia, and Malaysia to accommodate their time zones. So that is the plan. Have a nice break, and then we will see you at 6 or at least at 7 p.m. Minnesota time.